insurance, calling from Humana Healthy Horizons, your health insurance.
And what's your name?
Ricky.
Ricky, do you have a last name?
Yes, sir. Solon. Solaun as in Nancy.
Oh, it's very unique, and I've never heard that last name before. I've heard Ricky, but not Solon.
Yeah, it's European.
That's pretty unique, man. I find that very cool.
I appreciate that, Omar.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Especially the fact that you're calling me to help me.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, if you don't want to give out your date of birth, if you want to just give me your Humana ID number and your zip code, I can do that as well.
Yeah, sure. I mean, my doctor sent you my information for the home health care aid, right?
No, this is for case management. This is something completely different.
Case management. So when did you receive my request for case management?
Omar, before I can get into anything, I need you to verify your date of birth and your zip code for me so I know it's you, sir.
All right, yeah, that's not a problem. So my member ID number is H as in Halo 08.
Yes, sir.
403701.
Perfect. Your zip code?
32303.
I appreciate that. Is this a good time to speak, Omar?
Sure.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm a case management assistant, and basically I just received a referral this morning, kind of reaching out to you to see if you were interested in the case management program. Has anyone ever explained that to you, sir?
So I asked for a case management a long time ago for this for pretty much the same situation that I need help for now that I just mentioned to you. So yeah, this is great. It's a step in the right direction. Thanks for calling.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. So basically, I mean, the case management program, what it is they provide dedicated nurses and social workers to assist with self-management of conditions. They provide advice, education. They can help you meet your goals, and they can work with doctors and, other offices to help you find community resources and benefits that you may not know about. Now, there are a couple questions I do have to jump into real quick, Omar, just to get some information. So once I do gather all this information, what's going to happen is I am going to pass this information along to the case management department. And then, Omar, they should be reaching out to you in about 3 to 5 days to start that relationship. And then, like I said, they're going to address, any concerns that you tell me today. And then start that relationship. They'll give you their name, their number, direct extension. That way, if you have any questions or concerns, at least you have one person instead of, if you have 5 questions, you call them 5 different people. You have one person that you can actually contact, and they can kind of do all the legwork for you, if that makes sense.
Well, I'm doing all the legwork myself already. I'm going to my primary care physician. Whenever I have to go to a specialist, I call Humana and I ask them to send me a list of the specialists. Then I call the specialists. The problem with that specific task is when they send me the list of specialists and I call them, almost 90% of the time, 95% of the time, if not 100% of the time, more than, I want to say 90% of the specialists on the lists that are supposed to be within the network of Humana for someone like myself to call to go there for an appointment. They tell me things like I've got the wrong number, or Humana has the wrong information in their system. We don't accept Medicaid. You need to call Humana. They're giving you the wrong information. And it wastes hours of my time to do something that literally takes 5 minutes, which is, calling the number that the specialist that I'm getting a referral to go to, and me telling them I need to make an appointment, scheduling the appointment, providing them with my contact information, and then calling the transportation to tell them I have an appointment at a specific day and time, and they tell me the specific time that they're going to pick me up that day, and they provide me with a reservation number, and I document it so I don't forget what time they're picking me up, and that's it. But it whenever I call, they always tell me something different, and then I ended up having to call Humana again, and it wastes even more time. Then they send me a different list, or they send me a list that's 100 miles away, and I have injuries to my neck, and it makes my neck hurt worse when I have to travel long distances in a vehicle. So it's one problem after the next, man, and I've been doing all this myself. So I mean, I don't really know what a care man. What you said, a case manager or a care manager?
A case manager.
Yeah, I don't really know what a case manager is gonna do more for me other than if the case manager is a necessity when someone has a home health care aide.
I mean, like I said, all those things that you keep saying that, they're sending you wrong things or that they're having you call back Humana, things like that. All of that can be avoided with the case management. She's the one that basically can organize all of those things, reach out to people, get the answers that you need, instead of basically sending you back and forth to different things.
The phone kind of cut out when you said avoid. You said avoided, right? You said those things could be avoided.
So no. So what I'm saying is instead of them sending you things and then it's not the right information and then they have you getting back with Humana and things like that, she's the one that controls all of that. So she's the one that can, reach out to the people and get the information that you need, the correct information, stuff that is covered. Instead of having you to go back and forth, she's basically the one that's in control of that and can assist you and guide, actually make phone calls and get the answers that you're looking for.
Yeah, that would have been helpful years ago. I mean, I've been asking for a case manager for years now. I felt like that was literally my only option. I was starting to feel hopeless, and they said they would call me, and they never called me. And
I do apologize about that, Omar. Like I said, I just received this test today, so I'm just reaching out to you. I do apologize that no one's ever called you before, but that's why we're trying to, see if you're interested in today and ask you these questions so we can get someone to reach out to you and hopefully get you, the answers and the issues that you haven't resolved.
Yeah, I mean, it's an imperative necessity at this point. I mean, it's been an imperative necessity from the beginning, which was August of 2018. I don't see what the difference is now, though. Why all of a sudden are you calling me now? Oh, you mentioned my primary care physician sent you a referral, right?
No, sir. Your primary care did not. We just get a referral every so often. Exactly where it came from, it's not. They're just reaching out to us to see if you were interested in case management. It didn't come from a primary doctor. It's just saying that somehow something got triggered to where they send basically a referral to us to reach out to you to see if you're interested in case management.
Yeah, so I'm still interested in case management. Does the referral have notes?
No, sir.
What?
It's just saying it says please reach out to member for case management.
Those are the only shorthand notes that are on that referral?
Yes, sir.
Does it say where those shorthand notes came from? What specific agent?
No, sir. There's no agent or anything like that. They're just notes, and then it gets transferred to us. I mean, I'm sure there's a process, things like that, but I mean that's completely out of my unbeknownst to me where it comes from, things like that. We just get referrals every day from different types of groups asking us to reach out to certain members and see if they're interested in case management. So something must have triggered it, obviously, but it's exactly where I couldn't tell you.
Could you find out?
No, I mean, there's no way for us to find out. No, sir.
The groups that you mentioned, what groups are you normally used to hearing sent this referral out?
Sir, we have. I mean, there's different groups. I mean, there's the welcome team. There's the social work team. I mean, there's several different groups, sir. It doesn't say where it comes from.
Are they entities and municipalities of city and state government?
No, sir. This is from Humana.
So it's internally. It's from Humana, pretty much.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense. So then the supervisor would probably be able to provide me with that information, right?
With where it's coming from?
Yeah, just where the referral originated from.
I mean, I can try. I mean, give me 1 second. She's in a meeting right now. So,
well, I'll tell you what we could do. I mean, that information is not going to change from now until then, unless somebody deliberately changes it from now until I'm able to speak with the supervisor. But yeah, let's go ahead and sign up for the case management. What's the best number to reach you on?
1-800-322-2758. And that's the case management department.
1-800-322?
1-800-322-2758.
2758. Contact information for Florida Medicaid members. Who called you from 1-800-322-2758? Read more than 11 user reviews and security ratings. I see the first thing that pops up, it says Humana.com, but it doesn't say anything about the number. Well, the number that's on my caller ID, it says area code 502-710-4766.
Yes, because Humana is based in Louisville, Kentucky. That's a Louisville zip code. Or area code, I'm sorry.
Well, you don't have to be sorry. That's just what it says on the caller ID. I'm not saying that you're not from Humana. I'm trying to make sure I'm talking to the right people. It's been an ongoing problem with reoccurring violations of 18 USC SS 1513 and SS 766.110 and several forms of electronic harassment, my phone being unethically hacked. I was recently scammed by a call center in the Philippines that had access to my banking information, my pattern of spending, my interests of purchases, my interests in purchases, and they literally were able to conduct an online payment scam with every necessary living necessity resource that I had to utilize. Like, for example, they hacked me they hacked my phone, and they unethically hacked my phone and scammed me when I was purchasing necessary living necessities from Walmart.com, from Walmart.com, Uber Eats, Wells Fargo, and a real estate company here in Tallahassee, Florida called Joe MANUSA.com. And it's just been an ongoing problem. They went as far as sending someone to the Airbnb that I moved into here in Tallahassee.
Uh-huh.
And that specific person tried to steal my mail that Wells Fargo sent to me about a claim that I filed that has everything to do with what I just explained to you about the online payment scam through Wells Fargo.
Okay.
And the individual tried to steal that particular piece of mail from Wells Fargo, and I caught him. And I had to call Wells Fargo and report that. And it was just one problem after the next. And then that same person, he would sit in the living room of that Airbnb, and I'd be in the room that I was renting with the door closed and locked. And that individual would be in the living room talking very loud on the phone, and he would be repeating things that I was saying to my mother in Arabic on the phone.
Okay.
And I was like, this is insane. Like he was literally purposely trying to rile up the situation so I could get mad at him and yell at him and, do something that would get me in trouble to take the attention off the scam that they were conducting in real time. Like he was literally, he was an elderly white man, and he was sitting in the living room of the Airbnb, and he was repeating things that I was saying to my mom in Arabic on the phone, but he was repeating them in English. And there was somebody on the phone with him telling him what to say. And it was just, they went to at that point, to a sexually harassing extent to conduct that scam. And it became a serious problem. And then, it continued, man. It continued literally from one place to the next. And it started in South Florida, and it followed me all the way to Tallahassee. I literally ran away from South Florida all the way to Tallahassee, hoping that it would stop, being that I'd be in the capital of Florida, where there's more entities and municipalities of city and state government. And it's not as much of a high traffic tourist area like South Florida, for example, to where, there's a lot of known corruption. And so I moved to Tallahassee for my safety, but it continued. It followed me. And it was literally one problem after the next. Like, for example, it was a police brutality case that happened on August 7th, 2018 in Miami. And then on March 27th, 2019, there was the second police brutality case that happened in Miami. But that particular one happened at the Four Seasons Hotel when I went to the Homer, Bonner, and Jacobs law firm on the 14th floor, because the J.P. Morgan Chase Bank that was down the street in downtown Miami hired a law firm because they were involved in an Uber scam that I became a victim of. And I reported it, and I reported it to the bank, and then the bank ended up having something to do with the scam. So instead of the bank looking bad for being involved in the scam, they hired a law firm, and they requested for me to settle with them out of court. So the case was in federal court. We agreed to settle out of court. The Honorable Judge Michael Moore sent me documentation from the federal courthouse stating to sign the settlement documentation that they're going to FedEx overnight rush deliver to me, and sign it immediately. So that's what I did, and we scheduled an appointment. And the day of the appointment, they didn't call me, and so I called them, and they didn't answer the phone. So I went to the law firm with the documentation that they sent to me to sign, and the people at their law firm said that the attorneys weren't there, and I would have to reschedule the appointment. So I said, okay. So I rescheduled the appointment, and then literally after I rescheduled the appointment, they called the police on me and told them that I was trespassing. And the police ended up jumping on me, injuring me, and then arresting me. And they charged me with resisting arrest without violence to the officer's person, because I didn't do anything. I just asked them for their names and badge numbers, because I had to provide the names and badge numbers of the officers that were arresting me for trespassing. I had to provide that information to the Honorable Judge Michael Moore in federal court, because he specifically directed me to sign the settlement documentation immediately. And I was at the law firm, and I had business to conduct there. I had a binding contract between me and the law firm, so I had every legal right to be there. And I also rescheduled the appointments because the attorneys weren't at the office, and they didn't call me at the scheduled time that they said they were going to call me. So it became one problem after the next, and so I moved to Broward County after that to be closer to my father, who retired from the Broward Sheriff's Office. And I ended up getting assaulted by the police 2 more times in Broward. And then from there, I moved to North Florida and then to Tallahassee, Florida, because the harassment continued to follow me as I was traveling north, trying to get away from South Florida. And I'm now in Tallahassee. And like I said, man, it's just been one problem after the next, but it all has everything to do with government employees not wanting to get in trouble for violating 18 USC SS 1513 and SS 766.110. And it's an ongoing problem. But I'm still
okay. Well, I mean, I do apologize that happened. I mean, that's terrible. That's happened to you. I mean, like I said, the only thing I can do is just ask you these questions, and then get it over to case management if that's what you're interested in. I mean, I'm not trying to force anything on you, anything like that. If you're not interested, no problem. Like I said, I just was calling about the case management program to see if you wanted to, if you were interested in, and if so, to ask you these questions. I mean, did you want to answer the questions, or did you want to wait? Or, I mean, it's completely up to you, Omar.
Yeah, man. So I reported this situation to the SIU unit. Are you familiar with them?
No, sir.
The Special Investigations Unit at Humana?
No. I mean, there's a bunch of different departments in Humana, so yeah, I'm not familiar with them.
Yeah, I reported this ongoing, reoccurring violations of 18 USC SS 1513 and SS 766.110 to the Special Investigations Unit. So I thought they might have sent the referral.
I mean, like I said, unfortunately, it doesn't show me here who sent it. It's just they asked me to reach out to you and see if you're interested with the case management program. Did you want to just wait, though, and do some investigation? I mean, I'm not sure exactly. I mean, like I said, there's nothing forcing you to do this or anything like that. So, I mean, I'm just giving you the option to, and if you do want to do it, then, I have to ask you some questions. That's pretty much the information that I can give you on my end, Omar. You know what I mean? I'm kind of a low man on the totem pole.
All right. Yeah, so what kind of questions do you need to ask me that I didn't already answer?
Just about your situation, different things like that. I mean, would you want me to get into them? I can go ahead and jump into them right now, and we can get them done. I mean, it's just for the case management, because obviously if I send this over to case management, they have to have an idea of kind of your situation, what's going on, your health, things of that nature. So when they reach out to you, they can address that.
Okay, yeah, they should already have my information from my primary care physician. Not sure if if they need to be forwarded that information, or being that they're my case manager, they would already have access to that, being that they're billed for these doctor's visits and
Yeah, no,
transportation?
this has nothing to do with that. This has to do with, like, just your overall health, your living situation, your food situation, your necessities, things like that. Your PCP is not going to ask you those questions.
No, I mean the case management. The case management would have the information already from my PCP is what I meant, or what I was trying to say. If that makes sense. So I was informed that if I am discharged from the hospital, they could send me some food in the mail or something like that. They said they have some like vegetarian food, some healthy foods and stuff.
Yeah, the prepackaged meals.
Yeah, do they have like vegetarian stuff, like healthy food?
Yeah, I mean they got vegan diets and things like that. Yes, sir. If that's something that you're interested in, yes, sir. But obviously, I can go ahead and make a referral for that. But I have to do, this case management thing, so I can send it over to the case manager.
Okay. Yes. Do they have halal? Do they have halal food?
That I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I mean, I can try to make a recommendation, but I mean, they basically, it's just dietary things like that. But I can definitely put in the notes if it's something that you're interested in.
Yeah, if you could mention like halal diet or vegetarian diet. Do they have kosher?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they have kosher. I guess that's yeah. So if you could recommend it, could you recommend or you said request it? Could you request the halal?
Well, I mean, I can. It's not that like it's a recommendation. I could just put it in their notes, and if it's available, if they have it, then But I mean, I do know that they do have a vegan diet. They have kosher diet, things like that. Diabetic diets. So, I mean, like I said, I don't know what all kinds of that, because it's a whole different company. I'd have to make a referral for it. But what I can do is I can make a note of it and put in that you're requesting a halal diet, but obviously I can, I would put in like kosher, and then in parentheses I would say if possible on a halal diet.
Yes, yeah. That would probably kind of expedite it, because they'll see like, okay, there's a kosher diet for Jewish people, and if the patient is Muslim and he's requesting a halal diet, they should what's the word for it? They should I guess they should honor the same equivalence of belief, I guess, if that's how you should.
I mean, like I said, I don't know what their criteria are, to be honest with you, Omar. Like I said, we just make a referral for the food, and then let them know. I don't know what type of assortments or anything like that. But I can definitely put everything that you're asking for in the notes, and then go from there.
Yeah. Let's do that.
All right. Well, let me go ahead and start with these questions, and then we'll go from there. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Have you had any ER admissions within the last 60 days, Omar?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to read you a couple statements, and you tell me if they're often true, sometimes true, or never true. Within the last 12 months, you worried whether your food would run out before you got money to buy more.
Yes. That's been like that for years.
Often true, sometimes true?
Often true.
All right. And within the past 12 months, the food that you bought just didn't last until you had money to buy more. Is that also often true?
Yes, it's been like that for years.
Okay. All right. Now, just to throw this out there, Omar, you do have resources called 211 on your phone. If you dial them, there are food resources that are available and other type of community-based resources. And there's also a website called findhelp.org. If you go there and all you have to do is put in your zip code, a bunch of different type of community resources will pop up, anything from utility assistance all the way to legal assistance, okay?
Yeah, I tried that before. There was a Catholic church that they told me to go to get some groceries for free. When I went there, everything was already expired, or it had like 1 day before it was going to expire. But I didn't really have too much of an option, so I brought some of the food home, and to be honest with you, it made me feel sick after I ate it, and started to notice I was breaking out with all like different types of pimples and stuff after it. But the halal diet, the halal diet would really help a lot.
Okay. Again, like I said, I can only make the request. I can't guarantee anything. I don't know what type of food they have. I could just make the referral for you. So I'll definitely let them know, okay?
Okay. So usually how long does it take for them to send the food in the mail?
7 to 10 days.
Okay.
All right. And now, how often do you lack companionship or feel left out? Would you say hardly ever, sometimes, or often, sir?
No, that's not important.
Excuse me?
It's not important.
Okay. And do you feel isolated from others?
Well, yeah, I live alone in Tallahassee because it's not safe for me to be in South Florida, and I can't see my children because of the reoccurring violations of 18 U.S.C. SS 1513 and SS 766.110.
Okay. All right. Let me see here then. Give me 1 second. I'm just pulling up the second set of questions that we got for you. Now, the next set of questions I'm going to ask you is just because obviously we do live in the state of Florida, okay, and we do have hurricanes, things like that. Are you currently living by yourself? Do you live with other family members or other friends?
Well, yeah, I just mentioned I'm living by myself in Tallahassee, Florida, because the reoccurring violations of 18 U.S.C. SS 1513 and SS 766.110.
Okay, and if a hurricane ever came through Tallahassee, I mean, would you remain at home? Would you evacuate to a shelter?
I don't know what I would do, to be honest with you, man. I don't see a hurricane coming through Tallahassee to the point where I would have to evacuate and go to a shelter.
Okay, do you have a local contact that you would like to update in your file in case we try to get a hold of you and we couldn't get a hold of you during a hurricane?
I'm almost certain if you were to just dial 911, they would be able to direct you to my location at a moment's notice. I
understand that, but do you have a local contact and their contact information that you want us to upload in your file, sir?
Just put 911.
Okay, I would need a name, so I'll just go ahead and put none for now, okay?
No, just put 911, and then for name, just put 911.
All right, sir. Are you registered with the special needs shelter?
No, I don't know where that is. I just moved to Tallahassee in January of 2023.
So have you ever registered with a special needs shelter?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And do you require any type of skilled care, like insulin, wound care, or dialysis?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, which one would you require?
Wound care.
Wound care, okay. All right. And do you need any type of medication assistance, sir? Like reminders, insulin, anything of that nature?
No, not really, but it'll help.
No.
I mean,
For medication reminders?
yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'm in pain right now, to be honest with you.
Okay. Do you have any type of medical equipment, Omar, that requires electricity, sir? Like oxygen, nebulizer, ventilator, anything like that?
Hold on 1 second. I've got my groceries at the door being delivered by Instacart and Costco. Hold on 1 second. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes. All right. Just had to bring my groceries in from outside.
Oh, okay. All right, Omar, I just got two more questions for you. Have you received the flu vaccine this year, sir?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And do you plan on getting one, or do you feel like it's not needed?
I mean, I got one before and they didn't do anything. I still got sick. But then again, I was at the I was in South Florida going from one uninhabitable rental property to another uninhabitable rental property that the Florida Medical Center sent me to after I went there for help.
Okay. All right. Let me put that in. And have you ever received a COVID vaccine, sir?
No.
No. Okay. All right, Omar. Well, those are the questions that I had for you. Now, is there anything specific when it comes medically that you want me to bring up to the case manager so when they do call you, they can start the conversation off with that?
What's their name?
I have no idea. It goes into a department, and then, like I said, it takes 3 to 5 days for them to assign you someone and for them to call you out.
To call me out?
No, to call you, to make a phone call outbound call to you.
Oh, I thought you meant like they were gonna call me out, like.
No. So they're gonna make an outbound call to you, basically, to start a relationship, introduce themselves, see what they can do for you, things of that nature.
So Yeah, I don't need any companion services or anything. You mentioned to make them aware of something, which I'm already sure they'll probably be aware of it because I reported this situation to the Special Investigations Unit. But make sure you write in the notes to make themselves aware of the reoccurring violations of 18 U.S.C. SS 1513 and SS 766.110 that I reported to the Special Investigations Unit.
Okay, I'll definitely let them know, and they'll reach when they reach out to you. They'll ask you about that, and you can get a little bit more into detail with them about that. All right.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, having to repeat this over and over is really causing me a lot of problems. To be honest with you, like it makes me sick just having to think about this over and over. And it's, I'm injured, so, having to repeat this over and over, I have injuries to my neck, my back, my shoulders, my hands and arms keep going numb. I have injuries in my lower extremities. So, any movement, that I could kind of avoid in the sense of it aggravating my injuries helps. So like I was saying, if you could mention that in the notes to, be aware of it. I reported it.
I can definitely make a note of it. But again, with this case manager, you're going to have to explain things to her. You are going to have to repeat things to her and speak to her. I mean, that's part of being, in this program is communicating with the case manager so she can help you out and see what things she can help you out with.
Okay. So who is the case manager? Who is she?
She's a nurse, sir. There isn't a specific one yet. Like I said, it takes 3 to 5 business days for it to get over to the department. They'll assign one you to, and the minute that they get assigned, they're going to reach out to you to introduce themselves and start that working relationship with you.
Okay. Well, why do you mention she? Why is it not a he?
Well, because most of our nurses are women.
Okay.
Is there a certain time that you'd want the case manager to call you that is more convenient for you, in the morning or the afternoon, or does it really not matter, sir?
Well, I mean, if they could expedite it, that'll help. What time?
Okay, but I mean, would you prefer if they called you in the morning or in the afternoon?
What time do they open?
8:30 to 5 o'clock, sir. 8:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m.
Yeah, I guess 8:30 in the morning would help.
In the morning, then? Okay, perfect. Well, then I'm definitely going to get all of this information over, Omar, today, so they can reach out to you as quick as possible. I'll have them give you a call in the morning if you have any questions or concerns, or you need to update information, or if at any time you decide that you don't want to be in the case management program. All you have to do is call the number on the back of your Humana card, which is member services, and let them know. And there's no penalty or anything like that. They'll just disenroll you, okay?
No. I don't like to be disenrolled or called out or any of those metaphors. But, I'm just being overly cautious at this point. You know what I mean? It's just been an ongoing thing. It's becoming, really a serious problem at this point.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, it's up to you. If at any time you decide that you don't want to be part of this case management, it's up to you. You would let them know that you would not want to be in it anymore. That's what they call disenrolled. So you would make the choice that you don't want to be part of the case management program. Right now, as of right now, we're going to connect you to the case management department because you're interested in the case management department reaching out to you. At any time, though, if you feel like it's not necessary, you're the one that makes the call to disenroll of that program. No one's going to disenroll you. You would have to make that choice.
Sure. Yeah. It's a step in the right direction. I really hope they have my best interests, or if that's the proper word to use. I just really hope that they're genuinely going to provide me with quality preventative care, because that's what any victim needs, to be able to, accomplish their goals in life, and at the least their necessary living necessities.
Okay, definitely. I agree with you there. So I will definitely, like I said, I'll get this information over to them, Omar. It's up to you to discuss what you want to discuss with them. And at any time, like I said, if you feel it's not necessary, it's completely up to you, okay?
Yeah, sure. So what do you need me to do now?
Absolutely nothing. Just wait for a phone call. Case management is going to be giving you a call in about 3 to 5 days to introduce themselves, and then they'll start the relationship with you there.
All right. What number are they calling me from?
I don't know specifically. I mean, some of them could be calling you from their personal phone, Humana phone. Some of them be calling you from the number that I called you from, the 502 number, because that's the general number.
Okay. Is the supervisor still in the meeting?
Yes, sir. She's there till 1:30. Did you want me to have her give you a call?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'll definitely, the minute she gets done, I'll reach out to her, let her know that you would like a phone call, and then you can ask her anything that you please there, and she'll definitely reach out to you, okay?
And what's the supervisor's name?
Felicia.
How do I spell it?
Felicia.
Does she have a last name?
Perry.
Spell it.
Perry.
Okay. Does she have a badge number?
No, sir.
Or an employee ID number?
Not that I know of, sir. That's personal information.
Okay. Well, what's her phone number and extension?
I can't give that out, sir. It's illegal to give that out. I can have her call you.
Okay. So what's the best number to get in contact with her on and to ask to speak with her?
There is no way to actually contact her. She's going to have to contact you, sir. There's no way for an outside source to be able to reach her.
But what I mean is, what's the best number to call to ask to have her call me? What's the best number to call initially?
There is no number, so that's what I'm saying, that I would have to reach out to her and let her know that I have a member that that is requesting for her to call that member, and then she'll reach out to you.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that you're not going to do that for me right now. But what I mean, for example, if this call were to end after, we established that you were going to ask the supervisor to call me at 1:30,
mm-hmm.
What number would I call? Would I call this number back? Would I call a different number back?
Yes, you can call the 1-800-322-2758, but you're not going to be able to specifically ask for Felicia Perry. She doesn't have a contact number like that. You would speak to the case management department and request for her to give you a call back, and she'd give you a call back.
Okay. Is it the case management number that you have to leave a message on with your information, and then they call you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I've called that number for years, but they never called me back.
I'm not sure why. I mean, we have someone that's on the case management line from 8:30 to 5 Monday through Friday, and they check voicemails regularly. So I'm not exactly sure why they've never returned your call before.
Yeah, I've called that number. It's the same number with the same voicemail of a white woman saying to leave a voicemail and they'll call me back. And they specify that the number is for case management.
Did you say a white woman, sir?
Well, yeah, it was a white woman when I was in South Florida. That was on the voicemail. She had like a white American accent, and she mentioned that it was.
Oh, but you don't know if she's white, though. You're assuming she's a white female. Is that correct?
She sounded like a white American accent woman, and she specified. Okay. She specified that it was the case management number and to leave a message with my information, and they would call me. But they never called me. And I called that number for years and left several messages, but nobody ever called me. But when I call the Special Investigations Unit, it's always the same young black female voice. She sounds like she's American. She has like a kind of like a ghetto accent a little bit, and she talks real loud and aggressive.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, I've been trying to get some help for years, man. So that's just why I've taken all these, it might seem like I'm cross-examining you or something, but that's why I'm taking all these different forms of precaution, you know?
Well, I understand. I definitely understand. I mean, obviously you have to take, look out for yourself. Absolutely. Definitely. But I mean, like I said, I'm just doing my job, reaching out to you. I'm going to send this over to case management, and I'll have my supervisor give you a call. Okay.
All right. And what's your name again?
Ricky.
Ricky. What's the last name?
Salon.
Oh, hey, another thing too. You just reminded me. Did they ever get the that situation taken care of with that guy Ricky that was at the that fraudulent uninhabitable rental property in Miami?
Honestly, sir, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So,
to be honest with you, Humana is very big.
There was a place in Miami. They had like a scam going on with like it was like some kind of therapy. It's like a live-in therapy place where they would transport you to their therapy office during the day, and then you would eat lunch or breakfast and lunch there, and then they would transport you back to the therapy house. They had several different houses. Some of them were uninhabitable. Some of them were habitable in the sense of, it not being as bad as the uninhabitable rental properties. But there was an individual named Ricky that was there, an elderly white man. He was bedridden. He was always wearing a diaper. And they tried to get me to speak on his behalf as if I was Ricky, so they could do some kind of fraudulent scam so they could get money from his insurance. And I didn't really appreciate that too much, and they kind of made me feel like if I didn't do it, they were going to kick me out of their house and I would be homeless. And they really tried to kind of like, manipulate the situation because I was vulnerable. And another thing too, they made me sick on purpose. And there was a woman there that worked at the therapy place. She tried to get me to have sex with her, and it was just one problem after the next that they tried to get me involved in. And the hospital sent me there after I asked them for help, but they made my situation worse. And I reported this. I reported this to the Special Investigations Unit also. But that's why when you mentioned Ricky, I was like, maybe it's one of those things, because they also sent me several text messages saying that they were from Humana and they were inquiring some information about Ricky. And every time they would do that, I'd call Humana and I'd have to mention this situation again. But they haven't called me for a while or sent me any messages about Ricky or messaging me as if I was Ricky. That's why when you said your name is Ricky, I thought maybe this might have been one of those things again.
No, sir. No, my name, I have nothing to do with that. That's just my name. That's what I was born with. So I do apologize. I can't elaborate more on that. But yeah, Omar, like I said, I'll go ahead and have my supervisor reach out to you, and then I'll send all this information over to the case management department, and they'll be reaching out to you in the next couple days, more or less. All right?
Yeah, and then another thing too, what was I gonna say? The case management, is that from Humana Medicaid or is that from long-term care?
No, Humana Medicaid.
Okay. Does it say I have Medicaid and long-term care?
No, but here it's showing you it's just Medicaid. Now, long-term care is something that you can get into. That you'd have to call Department of Child and Family Services to help you apply for the long-term care.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I remember they told me before that when I had got the home health care aid, that they were going to send the home health care aid nurse or somebody who like oversees the actual home health care aid nurse that helped me at my house.
Okay.
And they sent the nurse that was above that nurse first, and they came to my house. They asked me a bunch of questions that were on the clipboard, and then they asked me to sign some documents, and then they sent the home health care aid nurse to my house. So I was wondering if this was one of those things.
No, I mean this is going to be telephonic. Everything's over the phone. So this is all telephonic case management. So they're going to give you a call over the phone.
Okay. Yeah, so if you could also put in the notes there with the request for the halal food, ask if you could request also for this process to be expedited. And mention that I've been trying to get some help with this situation for years. And they could see that I've been having to change primary care physicians literally several times, every year for several years because of this same situation I reported to you about the reoccurring violations of 18 USC, SS 1513, and SS 766.110.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll definitely, like I said, I'll try to get it expedited as quick as possible. I'll just let them know in the notes and, see if they can send it out as quick as possible. All right?
All right. And the supervisor is going to call me at 1:30 exactly?
No, sir. I can't. I didn't say a time. She's getting off at 1:30 her meeting. I just can let her know that she'll reach out to you. And depending on her schedule, she'll reach out to you when she's available.
Well, could you try to see what time she'll be available to call me today, so I make sure I don't miss her phone call?
Yes, sir. She's in a meeting until 1:30. I can't interrupt her right now. All I can do is give her a note stating that you're interested in her, that you were requesting for her to give you a call when available.
Well, preferably after she's finished with the 1:30 meeting. Could you mention that?
Absolutely. She can't do anything until she gets out of the meeting.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If you could tell her to call me as soon as she finishes that meeting today.
All right. Well, I can try to request that, sir. But again, I don't know her schedule, so I'm not sure. But I can have her call you as quick as possible.
Yeah, that would help.
All right, definitely. I'll let her know then, all right?
Yeah, and then one last thing, too. What was I going to ask? The transportation. Whenever I request transportation to take me to the doctor's appointments and back to my house.
Yes, sir.
I mean, there's been several times where they've sent me vehicles that were not clean, and the seats will be dirty. The vehicle would smell bad and or toxic, or the seats would be dirty and the vehicle would smell bad and or toxic, and it would make me feel sick. And I would literally have to go right back into the doctor's office or right back into the hospital. And it made the situation worse. And I would tell them specifically to make sure they send a vehicle that is clean and has clean seats and does not smell bad and or toxic. And they would tell me that it would be in the notes, that's written in the notes, that I requested that previously. But sometimes they would still send a vehicle that's dirty. And, you know, it's they've been doing that over and over. You know, and that's a serious problem because I'm trying to fully recover. And, you know, I have a lot of things that, you know, I've been trying to accomplish, but because of these same reoccurring violations, like the one I just mentioned to you now, and the previous violations, it's slowing it's making more difficult. It's making it more difficult for me to fully recover, and it's taking much longer also, and it's making my injuries worse. So it's a serious problem. And I needed to stop because, you know, I've had to postpone school. I've had to, you know, postpone, you know, my ability to fully recover in a timely manner so I could help my family and, you know, obtain monetary relief because of these reoccurring violations of 18 U.S.C. SS 1513 and SS 766.110. And it's because of these violations continuing to reoccur, it's ruined the quality of me and my family's life. And it's costed my family a lot of money because I had to complain to them. And, you know, it costed them money. They had to spend extra money. They had to spend a lot of their time. You know, it made them sad several times. It made my mother cry several times, and it ruined the quality of me and my family's life. And it's imperative at this point that I'm able to fully recover and obtain monetary relief for me and my family. So that's another reason why I'm explaining to you these situations in detail, because, you know, it's just like, for example, if someone calls and asks for help and, you know, they don't explain the situation in detail, or if they do explain the situation in detail and all the other person does who's, you know, in the position to help the person just writes shorthand written notes, and, you know, the situation ends up getting overlooked. You know, so that's why I'm specifying all these things in detail and asking you to make sure you note them and specify that I'm asking for the situation to be expedited and why I'm asking for the situation to be expedited, because all of those things are looked at from an urgent perspective, you know. So I'm making sure I'm saying all the key words and all the important words for, you know, the supervisor to be able to acknowledge that this is an urgent matter, and, you know, I really need some help at this point.
I understand. I definitely understand that, and that's why I made every note that you told me to make, and I'm going to send that over both to the supervisor and to the case management department.
All right.
All right. So I'll get this out, and just like I said, be expecting a phone call from my supervisor, and case manager will be giving you a call as soon as they can. All right.
All right. Could you confirm the day and time?
Excuse me?
The day and the time.
Of what?
Right now.
March 5th, 2024 at 12:16 p.m.
Today is Tuesday, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
That'll be it?
Yeah, I just have to document the day and time to make sure it's accurate. And so if I have to go back to this recording, I know what day and time this was, and if I need to obtain the information of the name of the supervisor, for example, and things like that, I know what recording to go to.
Perfect. Absolutely.
All right.
All right, Omar. Well, it was a pleasure speaking to you. I'll get all your concerns and everything sent over, and be expecting a phone call soon, okay?
Looking forward to it.
All right, Omar. You have a wonderful rest of the day, sir.
You have a wonderful rest of your life, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Time now is 12:17 p.m. Today is Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The duration of this recording is now 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 35 seconds.
Thank you. All right, so you were having a conversation with my representative, Ricky, earlier today?
Yes.
Okay, and how can I help you?
He gave me a phone call at approximately 11:04 a.m. The phone call lasted about an hour and 6 minutes, approximately.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked for him to ask the supervisor to call me.
Okay.
And that's just because of the reoccurring violations of 18 U.S.C. SS 1513 and SS 766.110.
Okay, I'm not sure what any of those are, Mr. Fawad. Can you explain to me what those are?
The violation of 18 U.S.C. SS 1513 is specifically, I'll tell you the exact definition, in the sense of what it has written online. 18 U.S.C. SS 1513. It pretty much means it's a statute, for example, that explains when a government employee tries to cover up something wrong that they did, it's a violation of 18 U.S.C. SS 1513.
Okay, well, first and foremost, Mr. Fawad, we're not government employees, so that statute would not apply to us.
Well,
so what exactly are you needing assistance with?
Yeah, that's why I mentioned the violations of 18 U.S.C. SS 1513 and SS 766.110, because
which is
the SS 766.110, that violation, it talks about the actual hospital or medical affiliation to the situation, violating those specific laws.
Okay, and what does that have to do with Humana about hospital affiliations? What are we discussing?
The reoccurring violations of both of those specific statutes, the 18 U.S.C.
Okay, so you keep saying the reoccurrence of these statutes. The first statute does not apply to Humana because we are not a government entity. What is it that I can assist you with?
So what I'm trying to explain to you is both of those violations are being violated, and the first statute that's being violated, 18 U.S.C. CSS 1513, is being violated by government employees, and then the
okay. Well, we're not government employees, so we're not going to talk about that statute because it does not apply to us. We are not government employees. Now, you asked for a supervisor, and I'm here to assist you, but I need to know exactly what do you need assistance with. Is it related to any social determinants or of care, or is it related to services that you need through our social worker team, care management? What is it that you need to speak to a social worker about? Need to speak to a supervisor about?
About the reoccurring violations of SS 766.110.
At this point, it doesn't seem like you need supervisor assistance, Mr. Fawad, because we're not going to discuss those statutes. We're not going to discuss them. Is there anything else that I can assist you with that's related to your care?
Yeah, he specifically mentioned that he called specifically because he received a referral.
That is correct.
So I asked him, the referral, was it from the Special Investigations Unit? Was it from my...
No, it was not. It was based... It's the referrals that he is discussing with you is to provide education for you regarding any severity of health care that you may have been experiencing. So we address those with the member for your health issues. Has nothing to do with special investigations or anything else. We here in the care management area talk to you about your health-related issues. That is the only thing that you and I are going to discuss.
When he mentioned that to me, I asked him who exactly sent the referral over.
We're your health insurance carrier, so anytime that you have claims processed, whether it's with your doctor's office, a hospital, you take an ambulance, they submit a claim, we have access to that information because we're your health insurance.
Yeah,
and that is not a violation of any statute or anything because we are your health insurance.
Yeah, so I was trying to find out exactly who sent him over the referral because he wasn't able to identify who sent him the referral, and he wasn't.
Had you recently been in the hospital?
Yes, I have.
So then the referral comes based on claims that you recently may have had, and we are required to do follow-up calls based on that information.
So the referral was sent from the emergency room?
Correct. If you went to the emergency room, we're following up on those services that you may have received.
Oh, is that something new that they started doing?
No, sir.
I've been trying to get a case manager for years, and the reason why I needed a case manager was because I really needed help because of the reoccurring violations of...
Well, again, a case manager is not going to discuss reoccurring violations with you. A case manager will discuss with you things related to your health. Now, if you would like, I can complete a referral for you to case management to discuss your health. But if you want to speak to anything and speak towards anything related to any statutes or violations, then you would need to contact your local congressman for that. That is not Humana. We are here to service you for your health-related needs.
Yeah, that was the point. It's ruining the quality of me and my family's life. And
okay, well, then that's something you need. That's why unfortunately, that's why we vote. And that's why we reach out to our congressmen. If you have an issue regarding things that are related to your health care and you think it needs to go to your congressman, then you reach out to them. However, when you contact Humana, you contact us to speak to us about your health. and things that you need for us to help you with related to your health. We don't have anything to do with anything legislative here in our department.
Oh, the legislative aspect was me explaining to you the situation in detail.
But that's not necessary. What we need to know is exactly how we can help you with your health-related issues.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I mentioned it because they asked me. For example, the individual...
he asked you about legislative services? Because I can always pull the call and review that, and I've spoken with him already. So are you saying that he asked you about the legislation?
Yes.
Or did you give him the information and he asked you to explain it?
Yeah, he asked me to explain to him in more detail than I already explained to him. So pretty much exactly what I explained to you, he wanted more detail than that. So I just repeated it.
Unfortunately, and I'll talk with him about that. That is nothing that we need to be involved in. It has nothing to do with us.
Yeah, that's why
we don't change laws here in our department. We don't work on changing laws. That is above us.
Yeah, that's why I specifically asked him what department exactly did he receive the referral from, because I was assuming it might have been from the SIU department, the Special Investigations Unit at Humana, because of...
Right, SIU deals with fraud. Do you have issues with fraud?
Yeah, they wasted policy, they forced fraud upon the courts.
Anything against a provider or yourself.
Yeah, it's been an ongoing situation.
Are you telling me you've committed fraud?
No. It's been an ongoing situation involving reoccurring violations of 18 U.S.C. SS 1513 and SS 766.110.
Does this have anything to do with claims being processed that you didn't receive services for?
Yeah,
or going to the doctor on your behalf and you were not the patient?
It has everything to do with that. And the fact that because these situations, because these specific statutes continuously are being violated, it made it that much more difficult for me to be able to fully recover. And it made my situation that much more worse. And
you're saying that someone going to the doctor as you has made it difficult for you to recover? Is that what you're saying?
Them specifically wasting policy and doing things out of retaliation because they're aware that I'm complaining about them continuously happening. And
so facilities are aware that you're complaining about them, is what you're stating.
Correct.
Okay. And you feel like they're retaliating against you because of your complaints?
Yeah, I know that they are. I'm certain.
So have you been banned from a facility?
Yeah, they tried to say that they trespassed me from the HCA hospital, for example, and there was no reason why they would tell me I'm trespassed from the HCA hospital because I didn't do anything.
Okay.
And it was literally one cover-up attempt to the next, and it was one lie that they had to tell upon another lie that they had to tell to continue to be able to cover up them trying to cover it up with that specific lie that they told in the beginning. And it literally just continued, and the lie just continued to be empowered, and they felt like they were able to get away with that because they were witnessing in real time that I was reporting that they were lying, they were continuing to lie, and nobody was helping me. So it empowered them to continue to cover up the situation that I was reporting that they were doing in real time. And that entire time, they were wasting policy. They were forcing fraud upon the court because I was having to report this situation to higher authorities and to specific people that are within city and state government. And it continued to happen. I had no choice but to report this to the White House and the former president, Donald J. Trump. And then as it continued to happen, I had to continue reporting it, and I had to report it to the current president, Joseph Robinette Biden. And I also had to report it to the FBI and the CIA and several participating agencies because it didn't stop. And one of those participating agencies is the Special Investigations Unit, the SIU department at Humana.
Okay. Well, whereas I understand what you're stating, and I'm sorry that has occurred. What is it that we can do for you now, unrelated to this situation? What is it that you need for us to do here in the care management department?
Well, other than what I mentioned to you already, and to the individual who asked you to call me and brought to your attention that I was asking to speak with you, I think we've covered everything pretty much. I mean, in the sense of, bringing it to the supervisor's attention, which you are. So you've acknowledged it now. I mean, I can't think of anything else to bring to your attention so you could acknowledge it.
And it looks like Ricky has already submitted the referral for you for a care manager. And so someone will be giving you a call back in order to go over what services they can provide for you and what they can assist you with related to your health care. So you should be getting a call from them within a week to 10 days or so for them to be able to assist you with things they can help you with your care.
Yes, that would be a great step in the right direction. I've been trying to get a care or case manager for years now, and it's literally it felt like it was my only option to be able to fully recover and obtain monetary relief for me and my family, because everything else failed. It was as if the numerous people and participating agencies that I reported this situation to, it just continued to go overlooked. And I was literally having to do everything on my own. I was always having to call the specialists that I had to go to on my own, and then the list that I would call of the specialists from the list that was emailed to me by Humana. Those specific specialists that were supposed to be within the network of Humana, they would tell me things like, Humana has the wrong information. I need to call Humana and tell them to give you a list of doctors that are within the network of Humana. I need to call Humana to tell them that they're giving me the wrong information. I need to call Humana and speak with the supervisor because they're not within the network of Humana, and they're telling me to call the wrong people and the wrong specialists. And it's literally a list of more than 20, 30, 40 people. Almost 90% of the time, 90% of that list is the wrong number. And it wastes several hours of my time. And, like, for example, just recently, not too long ago, they sent me 100 miles away from my house in Tallahassee because they said that was the closest doctor that was within the network of Humana. And that specific doctor was located inside of a mall that was about to be shut down because it was infested with mold. And that particular doctor's office and mall was on the news. because of the amount of mold that was in that specific building where that doctor's office was. And then it was several news reports stating that the mall was about to be demolished, and it was infested with mold, and it was a very dangerous building to go to. And Humana told me that was the only doctor that was within the network of Humana that I could go to. And I called transportation from Humana to take me to that doctor's office because it was an urgent matter and my gums were bleeding. And when I went there, I ended up getting sick because the entire mall was infested with mold and the mall was still open. And that specific doctor's office was still open also. And when I arrived there, I want to say 30 minutes approximately before my appointment, and the mall was open, but all the stores were closed, and there was only that specific dental office that was still functioning. There was a Lens Crafters right next to it that was still functioning, and the Lens Crafters, they said that they were relocating. That's the only reason why they were opening. They were still open, and they were relocating because the mall was infested with mold. And I asked them, I said, well, why did they tell me to go to this specific doctor's office next door? They said, to be honest with you, there's so many people that I'm witnessing entering this building and going to that specific doctor's office, and they're complaining. And because the mall is infested with mold, and they're giving them different excuses about why they can't see the doctor that day. And for example, when I went there that specific day, they told me I have to come back tomorrow because the doctor had an emergency, and the doctor is not there, and the only person that is there is the office manager, and the office manager is not the doctor, so they can't open to allow patients to go inside. But they were still open. They had the lights on. They had the gate of the doctor's office was down, but the lights were on, and you could talk to the office manager and the people who were at the front desk from the gate. That was pretty much. I don't know if you are familiar with when you go to the mall and they close like a specific store, for example, they have like that gate that they close, that they pull down, but you could you could kind of like stick your hand through it, and it's like it's open. There's openings where you could like talk and see people inside if they're still open. It was one of those, and I documented everything, but I ended up having to go to the emergency room because of the smell of the mold and the chemicals in the air, and the air quality was completely compromised in there. I mean, they literally had mold and moisture leaking from the ceilings onto the floor. They had large garbage pails with padding to soak up the water and for the water to drip inside the large garbage pails. It was really bad, and I had an immediate allergic reaction. I started feeling sick. My throat started swelling up. I was slurring my speech. I couldn't think. I couldn't articulate my thoughts and express my words quick enough. And I started feeling dizzy. My body started heating up. I started feeling like a sickening, dirty, numbing kind of filth in my air passages and in my throat. That's because obviously the air quality was compromised. And I literally had to call 911. The ambulance picked me up and took me to the emergency room. And then the transportation drove me back to my house in Tallahassee from Jacksonville, which is about 2 hours away. And things like that have continued to happen several times throughout the year, for several years, since I originally complained about the violations of 18 USC SS 1513 and SS 766.110 that first started in South Florida and continued to happen through North Florida as I moved away from South Florida because the harassment and the violations continued to happen, and they just kept getting more and more worse. And it was bad. I mean, I went to Florida Medical Center for help, and they sent me to an uninhabitable rental property where it was infested with mold and filth and pests and people that were purposely harassing me and doing things to make me sick and making it difficult for me to fully recover and obtain monetary relief. It was literally one reoccurring violation of 18 USC SS 1513 and SS 766.110 after another. And I needed help, and I was feeling hopeless, literally. And the only other option that I could think of to try to get help was to report it to the SIU department at Humana, being that when I would go to the doctor, they would bill Humana. And the fact that they continued to violate those statutes, they were wasting policy. They were wasting my insurance policy. And they were forcing fraud upon the court because these violations were reported to participating agencies of city and state government. And it was, like I was saying, I started feeling hopeless. I mean, I reported it to every single person up the chain of command. And I feel like the only option was to ask Humana to assign me a case manager. And the number that they told me to call, it was the same number with the same voicemail of a white woman. She spoke like good English. She sounded like a white American woman. And she specified on the voicemail that number was for the case manager department and for me to leave a detailed message with my information so they can call me. And I did that for years, and it was the same number, the same voicemail, and they never called me back.
Okay. Well, in general, when you're contacting our area here, we have a direct number for members to call in to. That will take you directly to our CMA call line, and that line is handled by representatives in our care management department who will be able to get your information, answer your questions, and then get the calls over to the appropriate area as necessary.
Okay.
So let me get that number for you 1 second. Alrighty, our direct number is It is 800-229-9880.
1-800-229-9880.
Correct.
Okay.
So again, you should receive a phone call from our one of the care managers once one is assigned. Within about 7 to 10 business days, someone will reach out to you. Once one has been assigned to your task that Ricky sent for you.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
What's the best number to get in contact with you on?
Okay. And you will be contacting me for...
Just in case if this continues to happen, I'll be able to have a number to the supervisor so I could, bring this to your attention immediately instead of having to repeat this entire situation over and over to several different people, because that's what was happening in the beginning, and they were witnessing in real time that I was reporting these violations that continued to reoccur, and nobody was helping me. And it was clear to me, it was obvious to me that because of that, they felt empowered, and it was empowering them to continue to cover up the situation. And
okay, if you need to file any type of grievance or complaint related to any type of violations that you feel may have occurred, those would not come directly to me. Those would go through our customer service area, and their direct number is 800-477-6931.
The main Humana number?
Correct.
Yeah, that's...
And they will be able to, they'll take that information and they can in turn send it over to our, if it's grievance related or if you need to file an appeal. You also, as a member, have, if you feel like there is an issue with the bills, or you feel that there may be some fraud going on in relation to services you may have received or may not have received, you can always reach out to ACA as well. And let me see if I can find the number for them. All right, you can. The number for ACA, let's see here. Get out of there. They've got a couple of numbers. 1 second. One second, I'm trying to make sure I pull the right phone number for you. All right, so their number, request for just a second. They've got a couple of numbers and none of these numbers seem to be the one that I'm looking for. Matter of fact,
Miss Perry, could you hold on 1 second, please?
Sure.
I just have a really important phone call I was supposed to make at 2 p.m. Just hold on one second.
Good afternoon, law office.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, may I speak with the attorney, Mr. Webster, please?
He is in deposition right now. May I take a message?
Yes, this is Omar Mohsen Ibrahim Fouad. I scheduled a conference call with the attorney at 2 p.m.
Okay. Today you did?
Yes, I spoke with him yesterday. He said he was literally walking out of the office, and he told me to call him today at 2 p.m. It's about a police brutality case and reoccurring violations of 18 USC SS 1513 and SS 766.110.
Okay. So I guess you tried to reach him and you didn't get him?
I literally had my alarm set for 2 p.m., but I've been on another conference call with my insurance company.
Okay.
And I literally had to put them on hold for a second just to make sure I don't wait too long after 2 p.m. to call.
Okay. Let me, I think he's still in deposition. Let me text him really quick because I don't want to. Let's see. And I'm sorry, what was your name?
Omar Mohsen Ibrahim Fouad. It might have been the attorney Baptiste. It was the younger African American man. I think that might.
Yes, that was Mr. Baptiste then. So you were supposed to speak with him?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to put you on hold for just a moment, please. Hold on, please.
Thank you.
Sorry, I am on the phone with a gentleman by the name of Omar something that was supposed to call a brutality case, but then he said something about maybe it was with Lewis. Do you know if that was with you? Okay. Okay. I will. Yeah, okay. Alrighty. Thank you. Okay. Okay, hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I apologize. He is not in the office right now, and I just spoke with the other attorney. I guess they were on a break, but he just said that I should go ahead and get your information. I will forward that to Mr. Baptiste, and when he gets back in, ask him to give you a call. Okay?
Yes, that'll be great. He actually did mention that he said to have his paralegal send him the information about the case. So what I did yesterday, I'm looking at the email. Literally, I Googled his information, and it has his email address under his bar information. So I emailed him the exhibits of evidence to his email. Let me just open this email again. Hold on one second.
Yeah, and is there any way you could forward it to me?
Yeah,
I can attach it. And does it have your contact info on there as well?
Yes, it has all of my updated contact information as well as all the exhibits of evidence are in the email thread.
If you will forward that to me, just it'll be a little bit easier to put it on his radar and ask him to give you a call. My email address is jw@websterandbaptiste.com. So same as Mr. Baptiste, just different initials, JW.
Yeah, the one I sent it to was LB at Webster and Baptiste.
Yes, that is correct.
So JW at websterandbaptiste.com.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Please see attached. Sincerely, Omar Mohsen Ibrahim Fuad. Time now is 2:27 p.m. Today is Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. So you'll see it'll say forwarded. In the subject title, it says, "This is Omar Mohsen Ibrahim Fuad. I scheduled an appointment to speak with you tomorrow on Tuesday, March 5th, 2024 at 2 p.m. Attached to this email are several links to exhibits of evidence that clearly and convincingly prove the police brutality cases, the reoccurring violations of 18 U.S.C. SS 1513 and SS 766.110 beyond a reasonable doubt." And then in the body of the email, it'll say, "Please see attached." And then it's going to say, "Sincerely, Omar Mohsen Ibrahim Fuad, 2:27 p.m., Tuesday, March 5th, 2024, Tallahassee, Florida." And in that thread of the email, it has the specific links to all the exhibits of evidence. And it's all the evidence is right there. It's very easy for him to be able to just identify and click on the link and see the exhibits of evidence. I just sent it to you. It says
I have not received it yet.
2:28 p.m.
Wait. Okay. Okay, I think I just got it. Okay, I've got this. I will, is there a, okay, I see all the information.
And where it says my updated phone numbers, where it says President's Aid, those are my...
Okay, I do see it. Okay.
Yes, those are my updated phone numbers. And I wrote President's Aid because I had to report this to the White House. Specifically, I had to report this to the former president, Donald J. Trump, and now the current president, Joseph Robinette Biden. And as this situation continued to reoccur, specifically the reoccurring violations of 18 U.S.C. SS 1513 and SS 766.110, the White House reached out to me during the Biden administration, and they specifically sent me a letter from the White House stating to keep them informed about this situation, being that I've consistently kept them updated and sent them reports about the situation through the Contact Us option on the whitehouse.gov website. I'm gonna forward the that same letter that has the White House letterhead and watermark, so you could see exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay. I will forward this information to him and ask that he give you a call, okay?
Yes, and what's your name?
Jody.
Jody. Do you have a last name?
Wormack.
Thank you, Jody. And
You're welcome.
I'm gonna reply to that email with that letter from the White House, so you could read it. And I'm also gonna attach the information from the Honorable Judge Alvin Balint Jr., specifically from the hearing where he specifically mentioned that I was beat up by the police, and he signed the document. Says, "In the Circuit Court of the 11th Judicial Circuit in and for Miami-Dade County, Florida." And it says case number 20184772 -MH-02. This was on August 17th, 2018. That was the first police brutality case.
Okay. Well, I think I have everything. So whatever you send me, I will forward it to Mr. Baptiste. Okay.
Yes. Thank you again, Jody.
You're welcome. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. I was able to find a number for you for ACA, and you can contact them if you need to file a complaint for regarding any healthcare facilities. And their number is 888-419-3456.
Could you repeat that number one more time, please?
888
888
419
419
3456.
3456. And what number? Whose number is that exactly? You said.
This is with the Florida Agency for Healthcare Administration.
Healthcare Administration. Okay. Yeah, I reported it to them also. Yeah, they were one of the participating agencies that I reported it to. As well as the Florida Department of Health, because their information is listed as a participating agency on the Florida Department of Health website.
Correct.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Perry, and thank you for acknowledging the situation. So I just really need to fully recover at this point and obtain monetary relief for me and my family. I've done everything I possibly could. I mean, I've even created my email address with the name Due Diligence Corporate. If anybody who has any type of legal experience or professional medical experience, when they see the word due diligence, they're immediately aware of the law that requires them to abide by their oath, whether it's their oath in the legal field or in the medical field. That word due diligence is used in both of those professions. And anybody who has, a degree in those professions is aware of that. So, I've done everything I possibly could to make sure that all the people who are in position to help me in the situation are able to acknowledge exactly what I'm explaining to them. And I mentioned all the key words. I mentioned all the words that are supposed to be mentioned for this to be immediately identified as an urgent matter. And I don't know what else to do, more than what I've already done to be able to, allow, these, specific agencies that are in position to help victims like myself to help me and to acknowledge that I need help.
And I noticed you said word. So, were you a victim of a violent crime?
Yes, several. In addition to the reoccurring violations of 18 U.S.C. SS 1513 and SS 766.110, when I moved from South Florida, I literally ran away from South Florida because of these reoccurring violations. And first, I went to Vero Beach, Florida, and I had limited resources. So I tried to start working, and it was very difficult for me because just like I'm injured now, I was injured then, and I ended up having to suffer just because I needed money to be able to afford my necessary living necessities. And the people that I found a job to work with, they did things out of retaliation in the same exact way that they did in South Florida. And I ended up getting shot at while I was commuting to a second job site while we were working on a federal project. And literally the bullet that hit the work truck that I was in missed me by 1 foot. I was sitting in the back of the truck, of the work truck, and the bullet that hit the vehicle hit the back right tire of the vehicle, and I was sitting above the back right tire of the work truck vehicle. And it was literally one situation after the next. And I had to report that this was in Orlando when this happened, and the federal.
How recently was this? How recently did this occur?
The first federal project was, I'll tell you right now. The first federal project was at Atlantic High School in Daytona Beach, Florida. This was approximately a year and a half ago. And then from that federal project, we went to another federal project at the Ormond Beach Elementary School. And then from there, we started building gas stations. And that's when the situation just started getting worse. At the federal projects, I had to report them because they were doing things purposely to try to make me quit. They were making me do things that they were supposed to be using machines for, and specific tasks that they were billing the procurement fund for the federal government project for. And instead of them using the machines, they were using me to do the job just so they could pocket that money. And also the employees that were working for that company, they were hiding illegal narcotics inside PVC pipes, and they were sealing them with couplings on the end of the PVC pipes. They were smoking, selling, and negotiating drug sales of illegal narcotics during, before, and after the job site at the federal project. And also they were sexually harassing the young girls at the federal project. They were also sexually harassing me. And the one of the individuals who was hiding the illegal narcotics inside the PVC pipes, I was assigned to supervise that individual and work directly under him. And he was doing things out of retaliation to, make it difficult for me. And I ended up getting injured because I was working directly underneath him, and he was high on narcotics, and he didn't care about, doing what he was supposed to be doing. I ended up getting injured, and then that's when that's when I started working for the company that was building the gas stations. And that's when I got shot at. And that particular company, they had the same name of the woman that was in charge of the federal project at the Atlantic High School and the Ormond Beach Elementary School. They had the name of the woman on the payroll company of the company that I was working for after when we were building the gas stations. So they were aware that I was injured at the first federal project, and I went and got another job with another company that was building gas stations. and they were aware of that, and I'm assuming for insurance purposes or what do they call it? Contract bidding and kickbacks and all those things that tend to happen during procurement scams and wage and hour loss scams happened. And they had the same name of the woman from the previous company on the second company, and they had her name on the as the payroll company name for the second company. And they did the same thing to me that the first company did. They did things to retaliate against me. They did things to make me quit, or they did things to try to make me quit, and I ended up getting shot at. And then that's when and I was in Orlando when that happened, and that's when the Polk County Sheriff's Department got involved, and the Crime Victims Unit, they assigned me my victim ID number. The victim ID number, it says it is... It says my victim ID number is 945157, and the information of the agency that issued me the victim ID number is 863-534-4020, and their email address is S as in Sam, A as in Alpha, O as in Oscar, V as in Victor, S as in Sam, at SAO10.com, and the prosecutor's name is Miss Cologne, and the prosecutor assistant's name is Miss Melissa Porter, and the state attorney's name is Mr. Brian Haas, Hass, of the 10th Judicial Circuit.
And this is from the case that happened a year ago, correct?
Yes, and specifically, it's being investigated because these situations continue to reoccur, and there's a pattern that formed of clear and convincing evidence proving the reoccurring violations of 18 U.S.C. SS 1513 and SS 766.110. And literally, as I continue to report this situation, I noticed that there were news reports about Donald J. Trump starting to get investigated. Because like I mentioned to you, I mentioned to them that I reported this situation to the White House and Donald J. Trump when he was in office. And as these reoccurring violations continued to reoccur, I had to report this to the White House during the Biden administration. And like I said, once again, I started seeing news reports about Donald J. Trump being investigated, and then I started seeing reports about the Biden administration being investigated, and the FBI getting investigated because I reported it to all of these participating agencies, and it continued to reoccur.
All right. Well, we will definitely have someone to reach out to you from our case management team. I'll also look to see if possibly you may also benefit from a social worker as well, for some of your different services also, okay? And I'll make sure I document this call. I'll also reach out to the care manager team to see when someone will be able to get in contact with you, all right?
Yes, that would be a great step in the right direction. And also, I asked the the person I spoke with before you, who I forgot his name that quickly, but I specifically mentioned to him that that I'm aware that when somebody goes to the emergency room after they're discharged from the emergency room, that they have an option to receive some healthy meals. And I asked him if he could request some halal meals for me. And
he did. He submitted a request for that as well. So
Okay.
that is with our expanded benefits team. Once it has been completed, the delivery meals, the company that handles those generally will reach out to the member to schedule time in order to drop those meals, to bring those meals to you.
Okay. Yes, that'd be a great help, and it would help me a lot.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Okay. Well, we'll get you all fixed up. No worries. Is there anything else I can assist you with? Is it pronounced Fouad? I want to
Fouad.
make sure I'm saying it correctly.
Fouad, Fouad.
Fouad, okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. All righty. And I'll speak with both care manager and social worker team to make sure they may be able to partner in order to better assist you. Okay.
Okay. Is there anything I could do for you?
Not at this time. No, I'm good.
Okay. Do you think it'll help maybe if I give a good recommendation to your supervisor?
Oh no, I don't do this for accolades. My goal is always just to make sure folks are helped. That's what I train my team to do. I feel like Ricky did a great job with assisting you as best he could and making sure that those referrals were submitted on your behalf. But it's not necessary at all. I get gratitude just for making sure that you're taken care of, and that's what we're here for. It's not about accolades for me at all.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm recording this call as well, so if they need verification of, the extensive acknowledgement and detail that has been brought to your attention, and taking the necessary steps to expedite the situation for me and things of that nature. I have the recording, and if they need me to verbalize that to them also, I'm willing to do that.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, you have a great rest of your day. Definitely, if you need anything, you can always call us back to that direct number that I gave you. Any of those reps will be able to assist you because we have your have everything documented here of what you've been advised and what we're trying to do for you. Okay.
All right.
All right. You have a good day. Bye now.
Same to you. Bye. Time now is 2:49 p.m. Today is Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.